It's your boy Eli Rex, aka Vibes, back off his hiatus, and I'm here with my brothers, man, Mr. Glass Half Full and Mr. El Jefe. What is going on, gentlemen? Tell the people how you feeling, and thank you for everyone watching today. But how you guys feeling today? Let's get this show started. Man, I feel good. I'm back.
Good to have you back.
Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. I missed you guys. I missed my brothers, man. So thank you, guys. It's great to be back, man. But guys, how was your week, man? How was your time? And I'm gonna start with you, Speed. What's going on? How was everything? And I know
Oh,
life is coming at us fast, man. So go ahead, brother.
coming at us real fast, man. Just another day in paradise. We're getting through the off season, the dead season. Let's call it the dead season, and we're getting to some juicy stuff now, man. I'm excited for Giants football. We're gonna get some cuts. We're gonna get some trades. We're gonna get some signings. It's all gonna go down. We got some combine to look forward to. I'm ready for Shane and Dable to do their thing, man. Let's go.
I'm excited. El
How about
Jefe, what's
you?
going on? Tell the people how you feeling.
I'm feeling good, Eli. It's good to have you back, bro.
Oh my God, so good.
I missed you, man. I did miss
Same
you.
here.
It's the tripod is back together. There's balance in the world now.
Yes.
Listen, we got to take care of business sometimes at home or real business, and then we can get back to having fun, and that's what we're doing. So I'm pumped up though because we're about to enter the craziness, right? Where it's going to be more than anything, we're going to be filled with hope again because this isn't the same old Giants. It's a new chapter now, right?
Right.
Like we closed that old chapter. Thank God. That was 4 years of complete fucking misery. But now it's over. It's over. We're ready to
If
move
you can't
on.
laugh about it, you're gonna cry. So we got through it. Now we're on the upswing, right? We're on the upswing.
Yes, I think
I totally
Even
agree.
if it's not going to be better, at least it's going to be different for the time being. We don't even know what's going to be, but we have hope now. So
exactly.
I mean, listen, this is the first time we actually got everything we wanted, right? As a
I
fan
know.
base. So I'm actually excited. So, it could go, we could poop the bed on this one, but I'm excited, man, to see what the future holds, man. We got a great GM and a great head coach. But guys, with that being said, you got to be excited about the combine coming up here this Thursday, guys. And I'm gonna start with El Jefe, man. What are you looking for? How excited are you with this combine coming up, and what position group particularly you're looking for or looking at, I should say.
Well, I will say Spiro is the combine master, so I do lean on him. No, but I'm excited to see maybe some. It all depends on like what they do in that first round. It's gonna be really interesting if they keep their picks. If they trade one or both of them back, you can get a haul between the two of them, and then but you're gonna look at 2022 a little bit differently if you trade back because you're not getting like if Thibodeau is there, we're probably gonna get into this, but don't get cute. just go to the podium. But I'm looking at edge rushers and O linemen. That's where I'm focusing the most. You got to get good in the trenches. The Giants need to beef up there and get real dogs on both sides of the ball. So that's what I'm looking at for the most part.
Awesome, Speed. What's going on? How you
Yeah,
feeling about this
listen,
combine?
I'm excited for the combine. I mean, it sucks that we're so excited for these things. So because it means so much to us Giants fans because we always have a freaking high pick. I can't wait for the day that I don't care that much about the combine, and I'm like, yeah, whatever happens. I'm like,
Those days are gone.
Those
days are gone.
Yeah, right now. But right now, I'm on pins and needles, like waiting for this thing to happen because I'm really looking forward to seeing how these guys do. It might not be relevant to the Giants, but I'm interested to see how these quarterbacks do because if one of these quarterbacks do well and they fly up that draft board, that gives you ammo to trade. I mean, that gives you the ability to trade back. Someone's got to trade up to you got to have the two to tango. Now, if we want to trade one of those picks, somebody's got to be interested in a quarterback because nobody's trading up for anything else. Let's be real. It's got to be one of these quarterbacks. We need to see them flash. It sucks that Evan Neal's not going to play that be one of the guys at the combine. He's one of the guys that the Giants would be looking at. Then you get your pro days though, so you're going to see them eventually. It's just I want them all to be there, but at the same time,
Spiro, let me ask you something. If your lifelong dream was to get to the NFL and you've done enough to secure yourself, by all means, a top 10 secured draft choice, would you risk it for anything?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah, he's a guaranteed top five pick, So I hear you on that. There's a lot of these guys that are just not going to risk it. like, what's the downside? There's too much downside if you do bad at a drill, or if you God forbid tear something while you're doing these things. So I understand it. I just, from a personal standpoint, want to see everybody.
Yeah, like I feel a little bit differently about like seniors or juniors playing in their last bowl game. You know, like sitting that out.
Yes.
I think that's a tougher decision because that's like your last college game. That's your last chance with your boys. Like you'll never have that team ever again. So like, but again, it's kind of the same risk reward that you're weighing in your head. Like the next level is just life changing. And if you mess it up, it could be millions and millions of dollars that you feel the impact on. So
hell yeah,
I mean, it's easy for us, you know, as these podcasters in their 30s to be like, oh, suit up and play. But,
yeah, right, exactly.
If I was 19,
I would do it if I was a superstar.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'm not.
Well, listen, I'm a little selfish too. I'm like, man, suit up and play, right? But you know, these guys are young. I understand this is the, you know, once in a lifetime opportunity of presenting themselves well for the NFL. So I guess they got to do what they have to do in some sort of way. But with that being said, I mean, I'm excited of the combine too, man. You know, the positions I'm looking for, like you said, LFA, edge and O-line. And it's funny you kind of sprinkled the quarterback in there, Speed, because that could be a huge, you know, thing to look at as well, because a team might need a quarterback. It's a lot of teams that are quarterback needy this offseason. So you want to see those quarterbacks do well, and that could be potentially of getting more picks for the future or this draft as well. So you know, I'm gonna look at that as well and kind of take a look and see. But I'm gonna ask you this, guys. Thibodeau. You know, if he falls, Thibodeau, if he falls to the Giants, I mean, how ecstatic would you be? And then I'm gonna start with Spee on this, but how ecstatic would you be if he actually falls? And I'm gonna kind of answer. I'm gonna give you another part of this, but I want to hear y'all answers first. But how would you feel if he falls to the Giants at their 5?
Listen. Well, there's a 2-part to this because I love the kid, and the only downsides I'm hearing is you know, his character. He sometimes takes plays off, you know, but there's never a question about his athletic ability or his traits. Which is, listen, I'm taking my chances on that. We haven't had a high end pass rusher since JPP, and you know, we need another one of these guys in here, and Thibodeau can be that, man. But it'll be very interesting to see if they pass on him at 5 and he's still there at 7. Do you take in a dream world? You get your offensive lineman at 5. You know, the guy from NC State, Ekwonu, or you get Neal, and then Thibodeau is still there because I think Carolina is either going to take a tackle or a quarterback. If it's looking like that, nobody's trading up to get Thibodeau, and he could still be there at 7. Imagine that. You get your big time offensive lineman and your edge rusher in the same draft, man. Like,
that's best case.
That's best case scenario. Yeah. Yes, it is.
Case. So, needless to say, I have a man crush on Thibodeau. I want him. I need him. Get that guy on the Giants, man. You cannot pass on him. Certainly not pass on him twice if you do have the chance to get him.
No. I saw some mocks where he goes like at 10, and I'm like 0% chance.
0% people saying he falls, and I just don't understand it. I just don't.
No. I mean, is he touched? Is he touched by the hand of God? Is it?
Apparently not, man. Apparently not.
I don't want to hear that.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear that.
But with that, Hefe, what you got, man? What if Thibodeau falls, man? How excited would you be?
So excited. I mean, Spiro nailed it. We were spoiled for a while as Giants fans, having Strahan since the 90s, going into OC and Tuck, drafting JPP while OC and Tuck were still humming in their prime. Like, we were absolutely spoiled rotten at that position on the defensive line. So to have we haven't had a dog like that since JPP, and you see what kind of difference he can make. JPP with a hand and a half goes on to win another Super Bowl and be a major impact player. JPP, I still think, has a motor unlike any player I've seen. That guy would run down running backs and not quit on plays and just have that kind of raw talent that you can't coach. You can't turn someone into that. You've got it or you don't. So, I mean, look at this recent Super Bowl.
Can I stop you real quick?
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that is one of Thibodeau's cons. He doesn't have that motor. So just dropping that in there for you guys, but keep going.
But the raw talent, when you need it most, when games are on the line, when you're trying to stop the other team in passing situations, look at the impact Aaron Donald. I know he's inside, but the impact that he had when the games were on the line, I mean, Thibodeau, when the game is on the line, you're going to get full effort from him. All right. Like, how are you going to go 100% 70 times a game? Okay. Like, that's not easy to do. So, and granted, that's in college where maybe he's thinking about the next level. I don't know. Either way, it's not great, right? You want to see him flying around like Hutch, ideally, right? Like, but we're expecting him to be gone too. So, I'll be thrilled. And then it kind of opens the door that they could have a trade queued up when they get to 7, right? Where if their guy is there, they stay put and take them, right? And if not, then they can make that deal, maybe fall to the teens for a QB hungry team or whatever, and make that deal. So it's going to be exciting, man. We're getting sucked back in with hope and excitement, and I can feel it. It's happening.
Al Pacino, man. Al Pacino, every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in, man.
You know, and Hefe, you kind of hit it on the head, man. He's in a college level, so maybe he's saving himself for the pro level, so where he's going to get paid for his talent. I'm not really concerned with him taking certain plays off, and the reason why is because I think the coaching staff is going to get him going. It's going to get him motivated, and plus being paid for doing a job you love to do, that's some extra motivation. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? But he's such a talent, man. You have to pull the trigger. Yes, we understand that the Giants need an offensive line help, but that guy is literally a generational talent. You have to kind of pick him at that level, at that number, and kind of go from there, man. Like, the guy is going to produce for you. I'm excited. If he falls to us, I'll be super excited. And but go ahead, F.A., I'm sorry.
Unless Joe Shane was just blowing smoke, he came out and said something like, you don't need to spend high first-round picks to put an offensive line together. So
absolutely.
He could be blowing smoke. He could be telling the truth.
Can we talk about that? Because
this is what we do here, Spiro. Yeah.
Let me get y'all up here. Let me ask you this: if the Giants don't pick an offensive lineman at the 2 number 1 spots that they're at, now we're gonna do it on different levels. Will it be Armageddon being the most upset you'll be? You're gonna go with number 2 of breaking stuff in your house, or you're gonna go with the I'm pissed off, but it's okay. So Armageddon being the top one, the middle will be breaking things in your house, right? And then the number 1 will be I'm pissed off, but it's okay. How would you feel? And I would start with El Jefe because I need a laugh here. I need a laugh here. How pissed off would you be? 1 to 3, and chat, please. 1 to 3, yeah. Chat. Let us know how you're feeling.
The only reason I'm not going to be breaking stuff is that would be after a day of the draft, right? And there's so much more of the draft and free agency to go that by week 1, we could be like, oh man, we got an O-line here. We got like these 2 rookies who look great. We got these free agents. We got so it can come together after the first, the season's not over. The offensive line is not done after the first round of the draft. I would be surprised. I would be, I want another cornerstone, right? Like, we got one. We have one guy on the offensive line to hang our hat on, right? We all know who it is. So can we get the other side locked up? Can we get another tackle so we can feel good about our tackles and then throw some big guys in the middle? Can we get another piece that you don't have to worry about? That's gonna be big. So I'm not breaking anything. I would have broke stuff after last year's full draft when we didn't take a single offensive lineman.
Yes,
I put that out there today. That was just mind blowing. It's almost impossible to not draft an offensive lineman when you're the Giants, and we did it. Dave Gettleman, one of your proudest achievements, man. Amazing. Spiro, 1, 2, or 3. How mad are you going to be?
All right, I'm gonna say 3 here because I'm gonna talk you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys about this scenario that is very likely to happen. Likely to happen. It's very likely that Evan Neal and Ekwonu are both gone before the 5th pick. Those guys are studs. Now, you're sitting there at the 5th pick. You want to get that offensive lineman, but I'm not reaching for a guy that just for the sake of reaching. I want a star. I want a star, and I don't care where he really is, at what position he really is at. Because the Giants need stars everywhere, dude. They need stars. So the next available tackle is Charles Cross from Mississippi State. He's fine. He's a good pass protector, but I wouldn't be in love with it at the 5th pick. I don't think anybody would be in love with it. We'd be like, okay, but he's not Ekwonu or Neal. He's not even close, in my opinion. And then you got Penning, who you could think about from Northern Iowa. You could think about him in the teens and the 20s, but certainly not 5 and certainly not at 7. So either way, you're reaching if one of those big guys is not there. So don't reach. This is how you got in trouble. This is how you got in trouble in the first place. Don't reach for a needy pick. We need stars everywhere. And there's so many good defensive players there. Kyle Hamilton is a great safety. You got the edge rushers. You got, I'll go on, but there's linebackers that you can trade back. We'll talk about every one of these guys later, but there is so much defensive talent there that you should not pass on a star in the making just for the sake of getting an offensive tackle.
I agree. BPA. Get your best player available, right? Boom. Follow your draft board. You created that board for a reason. And if those guys are above those offensive linemen that are there, you need to pull the trigger on the guy that's there. We need those stars. Yeah. And we said this a million times with New York Revival that we have nothing but B-roll players on this roster, right? We need that A now.
Solid players, right?
There's a lot. We have a lot of solid, but now we need that exactly. We need that stud. And if he's above an offensive lineman, go get him. Like at this point, I'm trusting this process. With Dave Gettleman, the reason why we were so upset with the lineman, because we've seen the 4 years he's done it, that we needed an offensive lineman, and he needed to get one at that time. Now we have a new regime. Now we have to let them build their roster according to what they believe in. So will I be upset? Nah, I'll be pissed because I'm like, man, what's Daniel Jones going to be? And even though I'm out on a guy, but I'm like, man, we didn't really give Daniel Jones an option here. Right. But I'll be pissed, but at the same time, I wouldn't be too angry as well. I wouldn't be Armageddon. I wouldn't do any of that. Right. I'll just be like, man, listen, I'm going to trust the process and trust their board and knowing that they're getting these game changers to help this team. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I hear you. And listen, the free agency is going to lead into that. Like, we'll see what they're doing in free agency. And in a perfect world, they get maybe a guard, a tackle, a guy that can do both. They get like three pieces. Like they're not going to be high priced, but they'll be guys that could be starters. That way, you're not pigeonholing yourself into having to pick a tackle at a 5 or 7. That'd be ideal. That's my perfect scenario. And listen, there's a lot of depth there, man. That 36 pick, you could get a pretty damn good player there, man. And let's call a spade a spade. We're not fixing the whole entire OL in 1 year. It's gonna be a build. But you get three good pieces, and that's you're way above what we did last year. And that's all we could ask for, man. That's
and don't forget that every round produces starters on the offensive line. It's a matter of finding the right guys and picking. The Chiefs found an everyday starter in the 6th round, right? And that's protecting the $500 million man. So they're not going to put any schlub out there. Like the guy was good. Giants didn't take a chance on him. Instead, we took Gary Brightwell.
Hey, you know who's good though at finding these like gems? The guy, our assistant GM Brandon Brown, who found so many gems for the Eagles in random places. Man, he took a rugby player, and he's now one of the better starting left tackles in the league.
Love that guy.
That's what you need to do. You need to find these diamonds in the rough. You don't need to build a line of first-round picks. You don't have to do that. You could do it a different way. So I'm trusting Shane here.
I'm kind of with you guys. You talked me into it. Don't be surprised by anything. If one of the stud offensive linemen is there, take them. Yes. If not, get 2 stars. Like, do you think the safety will be there at 7? Is it Hamilton?
Kyle Hamilton, if he's there at 7, you sprint as fast as you can.
So if we walk out of the first round with Tibbs and Hamilton, you have cornerstone pieces on your defense that are on rookie deals together.
Absolutely. And that's stars. Like you said, those are stars. Those guys is going to come in and contribute right away. Dude.
He's a star.
He's he looks like Pest, thanks for dropping in. Glad we could help out your marriage, brother.
Pest, what's going on, baby? So, guys, but go ahead. Finish it up. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
I want you guys. I'm just preaching to all Giants fans here. Don't go into the first round with a closed mind of we need OL. Like just chill out, trust the process, get at least 1 star, and hey, maybe get a trade back where you're building up for next year, and then hey, if you're trading back, maybe you get a Cross, maybe you get a Petting a little later, and then you have the best of all worlds. So
I think people are asking for O linemen because they really want to see what Daniel Jones can do.
For sure.
And at this point, guys, we have a new regime, and at the end of the day, they're going to have a new quarterback. That's just my belief on it. Like, when you get the new leadership in here, new coach and new GM, they're going to want their guy. And I don't think Daniel Jones is it. But I'm gonna segue into something real quick before we continue. And I'm sorry, Hefe, you wanted to add something before I continue? I'm sorry, brother.
The last thing I'll say is just that more than anything else, I know we got burned so bad by Gettleman. He literally drove us into the ground. He took a bad situation and made it worse. So make sure that we give Joe Schoen a chance, right? Like this guy has been helping build teams for today's NFL. Like Mara did everything right so far in this offseason, bringing in the right people. We have much smarter, younger people making decisions now. So if they think the best move is to grab whoever in the first round, let it play out for a little bit.
Yep.
Because this is not Gettleman who has lost no trust. This is brand new. So let's not, turn on the guy because you didn't get the offensive lineman you thought should start.
Right.
I totally agree. You hit the nail on the head. You know what I mean? We got to let this thing play out. And I'm excited to see what they can do, man. Like I said, I'm not really too I know we need O-line help. I know it. But at the same time, there's some stars out there that we got to go get. We got to go get those A players. This is going to be a work in progress. I don't think we're going to be a winning team next year, but that's another topic and conversation. But I'll tell you this, though. What everyone asks for an offensive lineman, they're kind of stuck on Daniel Jones. They want to know if he's the guy. And this is the topic of conversation that comes up every day in Twitter land, every minute, every day.
I was at it
literally.
Today. I was battling the Daniel Jones crowd today.
And you know what? And I think we all at New York Revival kind of went out and was like, okay, we're kind of off the fence here. Like we're picking a side. So I'll tell you this, guys. There was a report that came out that Daniel Jones could be the worst quarterback in the league. With that being said, guys.
It's so dramatic.
Yeah, right. But with that being said, after looking at the entire league and they're starting, 32 quarterbacks, is he the worst 5? Is he the best 15? What do you think? And I'm gonna start with Speed, man. What do you think Daniel Jones is? Is he the worst quarterback in this league, or are we gonna stick with that? Is he the worst quarterback in this league?
No, he's not the worst quarterback in this league. Come on, I mean, if you guys watch Taysom Hill play, you see the worst quarterback.
No, Spiro, no, we said quarterbacks.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Right.
Listen,
exactly.
I hate that we're still in this scenario to where we say it all the time that we don't know what Daniel Jones is because of the shit that he's been through, the shit he's been put around him, the injuries. We just don't freaking know anymore, man. And I'm still of the opinion that he will, he doesn't have to be perfect, but in a good scenario, he could be a top 15 quarterback. He's going to be like 15 to 12 range. I think that's his max. Now, whether that's good enough for somebody, probably not because he was picked so high. But I think that he still has the attributes to be a top 15. We see flashes of it. We see the Washington game. We saw the Saints game. You see a couple games last year. And that's with one of the worst O-lines in the league. And Garrett as his freaking offensive coordinator and Joe Judge with his conservative play style. Like, can it get much worse? No Tony for most of the season. Galladay was a shell of himself. Shepard gone. Like, name the excuse you could say it for Jones. And I hate to be this excuse guy. And I hate that we keep doing this again. But I don't think talent-wise, I don't think he's a bottom 10 quarterback. I think he's in the middle. And again, whether that's good enough for some people, probably not. But he's in the middle for me. I'm right down the middle.
And I want to get your opinions as well. I just want to throw in one more. The Giants did not pick up his 5th-year option as well. Was that a smart move by the Giants at this point? And I want you to finish that up there before I go to El Jefe. But Speed, what was that a smart move by not picking up his 5th-year option?
Absolutely. And I just said what I said about DJ just before. I'm a supporter of him. I back him a little bit. But in no way is he the long-term answer right now. I have not seen anything that says this is the guy going forward. He can't stay healthy. He's inconsistent. I need to see so much this season to say, hey, maybe we give him a year or two. I'm saying a year or two right now. In no way do I think he's part of the long-term future. I think he's probably gone if he has a decent season. But no, the Giants did the right thing. You can't commit to this guy long-term. Not even close.
Jefe.
100% the right decision not to pick it up because he hasn't shown enough. I can confidently say he is bottom 3rd in the NFL as of right now because it's what have you actually done. Spiro nailed it. I think his ceiling is 12 to 15, like right behind like the Derek Carr. I think he's like right behind there in terms of his ceiling. But you see how important the quarterback position is in the playoffs. Who are the quarterbacks in the playoffs? And if you look at Jimmy G as the exception, and I do because he's got a phenomenal roster and really, really great coaching. But if I were the 49ers, I would absolutely keep Jimmy G. You're on the doorstep of the Super Bowl, and if you have Trey Lance waiting behind you, you have depth at the most important position in football. So be it. So the 49ers would be crazy. I think it's $25 million for Jimmy G, relatively cheap for a starting quarterback. So I think they'd be nuts to move on from him. Daniel Jones has not shown, and yes, there are a mountain of reasons of why he hasn't done it, but I also feel that he hasn't overcome a single one of those. I don't see him making players around him better or doing any of that. And you can come from both sides and say, well, it's because of this and that. And yeah, he's been dealt a shit hand, one of the worst hands, as bad as Sam Darnold. You know what I mean? Like, and Sam Darnold, like, he's pretty much on that level until you see otherwise. Because that's just, I'm not going to play, oh, but he can do this. Like, every player has a highlight reel. They're in the pros. Like, don't show one highlight and say, Daniel Jones can't do this, can't do that. Like, that's a joke. Look at all the plays. I could put Daniel Jones' bad plays together and you'd be laughing and saying, how is he in the NFL, let alone a top 6 pick? And when you pick a quarterback, top 6, he is supposed to change your franchise. Daniel Jones has not done that at all. No. We still don't know who he is. And if the question has to be asked, is he the worst quarterback in the NFL? You have your answer.
Hefe, Speed, you guys are right. I would say Daniel Jones is in that bottom 5. And as far as the Giants not picking up his 5th-year option, it was the smartest move ever. You don't know. This is the biggest question mark on this roster is Daniel Jones, in my opinion. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, if you look at every position group, that quarterback position is Glenn and Saquon, right? But at least you know where Saquon is. Like, his ceiling is very high. We've seen flashes of success. We just seen flashes of good plays from Daniel Jones. We've seen probably one play or one game to where he put the team on his back and actually played well. And that was probably the Washington game where they lost, right? That was, maybe you could say New Orleans. Maybe you could say the other game like Carolina. But that's 3 out of the 4 years he's been in the league. Guys, if we're questioning still, and I say this over and over and over again, he just can't be the guy long term. In fact, he might just be a backup quarterback at this point. And I hate to say it. I'm really rooting for the guy. I want him to prove me wrong. But guys, I used to be a champion for him. But the fact that we're still giving him excuses that he don't have enough of this, enough of that. Look what Joe Burrow did. Yes, he didn't win the Super Bowl. But at the same time and token, he did take his team to the Super Bowl with a bad offensive line. Daniel Jones isn't that guy.
Very good wide receivers and one of the better running
Jamar
backs.
Chase, etc. I get it. But we also gave, without a line, but we also gave Kenny Golladay. We also gave him a bunch of, which of course he wasn't in the game, but still, we gave him some sort of weapons, right? It just couldn't come to fruition. Everyone got hurt or whatever the case is. But even if you look at the past film of Daniel Jones, you got to say, man, I don't think he's it. His rookie year was his best year. You know what I mean?
When he had 65 turnovers.
When he had the most turnovers, right?
But he also
at the same time, go ahead.
An actual offensive coordinator. He's been dealt the shittiest hand you can possibly dealt.
Eli just hit on something which was like really, really smart. When you look at Saquon and you see how he actually put it together for an entire season, you saw top 3 upside, right?
For sure.
The problem with Saquon is the positional value and how much what's worth drafting and paying a running back. But in terms of talent, he is top 3 talent because we've seen him do 2,000 scrimmage yards. Like we saw it. DJ, like, when is he throwing the team? Like, we've been in so many close games in the fourth quarter the last couple of years. We're not coming out of those games winning. And if DJ was so good, we would find a way to win those games because
I don't think anybody's saying he's so good.
Believe it or not, some people are.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
But I was going back with Will Presti on Twitter today, going back and forth, and I said, if you're good enough to be, if you're good enough to be in the game in the fourth quarter, then you're good enough to win it. Right. And like the difference comes down to that wow play. And when in the playoffs, this was the best playoffs ever this year. But the level of quarterback play made it so freaking obvious that if you don't have a guy like that, you better be in pursuit of one. So that this is a free year for our new regime with Joe Shane and Brian Daboll. They can use Daniel Jones, see if they can develop him, but they have full reign to go get their guy next year.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And I can't add any more to that. Hefe, you hit the nail on the head. I cannot add any more to that, man. That was some great freaking points and a good wrap up. Thank you so much. With that being said, guys, we're gonna address this here on New York Revival for the last time. Every offseason, this seems to be a topic of conversation, and I have no idea why. I guess because it's such an easy target, because we all know the guy, he just does this, right? And you guys know who we're talking about. Mr. Eli Manning, our GOAT, our legend. Every offseason, they're debating if Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer. Are you nuts? And we're not gonna spend long on this, but are you nuts? Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer, but I want to do something a little different. I figured why not try to debate this out? And we got an angel devil kind of scenario. We're gonna have El Jefe play the white jersey here. And we're gonna have Speed play the blue jersey here. There it is. Hey. And we're gonna debate this out. And if you guys know the white jersey, blue jersey, the white jersey is kind of not the negative guy, but the more realistic guy. While the blue jersey is more of a homer type guy. So I'm going to start with El Jefe. Give me the cons of why Eli Manning should not be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, because I guess you're just letting anybody in the Hall of Fame then. That if you play for a long time, then you get in the Hall of Fame. Like the guy, if you watched him game in and game out, you want the best of the best in the Hall of Fame, right? You want the Tom Brady's, the Aaron Rodgers, the Peyton Mannings, the guys who there is no debate how incredible they are. And there's a lot of debate about Eli Manning, right? There's a lot of debate. He threw the ball away a ton of times. The one exception is Brett Favre. If you're talking about guys who threw interceptions and still deserve to get in. If you threw that many, you look at Aaron Rodgers' seasons time and time again, 35 plus touchdowns, single digit interceptions on a season in, season out basis. That is a Hall of Fame quarterback, right? So if you want the best of the best, then you're looking at guys who completely elevated the game, that there is no debate whether they should get in or not in the most important position in the sport. I rest my case.
That's how you debate.
I like it. Speed, what's going on? And by the way, guys, I'm going to rough this out, but go ahead, Speed.
Hey, listen, I always go back to this. Can you write the story of the NFL without Eli Manning's name in it? No, you cannot.
Can you write it without Trent Dilfer?
Yeah, because you could say he was on the best defense, one of the best defenses ever. Trent Dilfer was along for the ride. Eli Manning had a great postseason run, 2 great postseason runs. Everybody that says the defense carried him didn't watch the postseason, because Eli was almost perfect in both postseasons. He was throwing the ball all over the field. He didn't turn the ball over. Throwing the ball down the field. He was a part of 2 of the greatest catches in Super Bowl history. The helmet catch, which was more luck than anything else, but one of the best throws of all time with that Manningham catch, man. And you cannot write the story of the NFL without Eli Manning. Was he a compiler? Yes, he was. But that was part of his allure too. Cal Ripken broke the Ironman record. That was part of his allure. Eli Manning was there every Sunday, whether you like it or not. He gave you a chance because he was always going to be there, and that doesn't get talked about enough. And it's one of it's a trait. He was there. He made it. He made it every Sunday, and he gave the Giants a chance from 2004 to 2019, 15 years. Always gave his team a chance, and he turned it on when the games mattered most. Every time in the fourth quarter, Eli Manning was there. That 2011 season, that's MVP level season right there. He was at the peak of his powers right there. And it's not a coincidence that he had 3 good wide receivers for that 1 year. Jerry Reese let him down the back half of his year. He would have had better numbers if Jerry Reese could have gotten him better teams. I rest my case. Eli Manning is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Book it.
Listen, I have to say this as far as reffing the debate here. First thing I'm going to say is El Jefe probably had a difficult time saying anything negative because we're all Eli Manning fans. So, guys, check this out. The one thing I hate that they put on Eli Manning is that he has a 500 record, not knowing that this is a team sport. Eli Manning is in top 10 in all statistical numbers. Eli Manning beat the greatest of all times as far as the quarterback position in Tom Brady. And you cannot write any history of the NFL without Eli Manning, because 18-1 will go down forever in history. Twice he beat this team, the perfect Patriot team in their prime. Twice. Eli Manning is a first ballot Hall of Famer. That record is nothing. You guys should stop looking at these wins and losses. It's crap. It's a team effort here. It's a team effort.
Well,
Eli,
look at the beginning and the end of his career. You could see the difference in the record. You can't pin a record on a quarterback.
And I say this too. Has he declined? Father Time is undefeated, guys. Absolutely. Father Time's undefeated. But when Eli was in his prime, we're talking about the fourth quarter comebacks. We're talking about the playoff runs. Oh, he hasn't made it to the playoffs enough. Aaron Rodgers made it to the playoffs every freaking season, damn near, and he only has one freaking Super Bowl. He got in when it count. Okay, guys? So Eli Manning is a first ballot Hall of Famer in the postseason. Correct me.
Come back to us, E.
I would love to correct you. Oh, you're back. You're back.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Nice.
What are you going to say? Correct me if I'm wrong. Go.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Like I said, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Like I said, he's 8-3 in the postseason, 2-0 in the Super Bowl. The guy's first ballot Hall of Famer. Let's end this debate. There should be no more offseason. I can't wait till he gets the gold jacket so they got picked on him. I can't wait. Because then the debate will be over. This is all for clicks and likes. Like, enough. I'm just tired of the Eli Manning debate. Oh, I'm there. I'm there. I'm tired of the debate.
I think we should all go to Cannes, make it a little NY Revival trip. I've never been, and I cannot wait to get up there. And what better time when our boy's going in the Hall of Fame?
Done. I'm there. I'm dead serious. I'm there.
You put me in some kind of position there, Eli.
This is the most I'm ever going to put you in that position. That uncomfortable. This is the only time I'm going to do that.
I can't believe I didn't mention one of the greatest points, which you then did, is that he's a 500 quarterback. That's
right.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it. I was like, oh, I'm going to combat that. But it didn't come. So I was like, all right. I can tell he's just siding with us and we're just doing it for the show. It was.
I was reaching.
And it was hilarious too. It was great. It was great. But guys, I'm going to go back a little bit. I'm gonna try something here different, and we're gonna try to kick up with another team. Kyler Murray's in negotiation of a contract here. He wants some huge numbers. Is Kyler Murray really worth that contract, guys? And I'm gonna start with Hefe. Do you think he's really worth this monster deal that he's looking for at this point?
I mean, like, the Cardinals are kind of stuck right now because they went out on a limb. They had a first-round quarterback, dumped him to get Kyler. So you already put all your chips in on him pretty much. And he's dangerous, but he's now in a miserable division. And you're asking him, I mean, even if you give him the house and you give him all the money, I don't know if he's going to be able to win anything in that division just because of how good it is. So I don't know. You give that, he's asking for 50 plus or are the rumors. And he's good, but he's tiny. He gets nicked up. He's, I don't think it's hard. I don't think it's easy to survive with those division games and what he's got to go up against constantly. So I'm going to say no, he's not worth. He is it's hard to rank him because he's a very dangerous quarterback. He's a better fantasy quarterback, really, just because he'll get you 70 on the ground every game.
I'm triggered on that. I am this year.
If I'm the Cardinals, it sucks because you're stuck now because it's either going to turn into a soap opera or you're going to have to give the guy a bag. But how many years into his rookie deal is he? He played two. Did he play 2 or 3 seasons?
This is he played 3 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is negotiating time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good. He's good. He's certainly top half quarterback, and he's dangerous. He has a skill set that's unique. He's very, very quick, but that worries me. And I don't like a guy who goes about his business the way he did. This is kind of the NFL now with guys who are so young, taking to social media and trying to play games and unfollowing your team to try and send a message. That's bitch stuff. That's not what I want out of my franchise quarterback. So for those reasons, I'm out.
And he,
perfect.
El Jefe nailed it on the head there, man. And I was gonna say that too. That's your leader right there. That's the guy leading your team, the face of your franchise, and he's going so low as to scrub your team off his Facebook and Twitter pages. Come on, grow up, man. And that's a problem I've had with Kyler Murray since day one. I never liked his attitude. He pouts on the sidelines when things aren't going well.
Yeah, he does.
He constantly injured. Every season he starts off like wildfire, and then by the end of the season, guess what? The injuries catch up to the 5-2, 5-1, whatever he is guy.
Who would have thought?
Shocking. You know what? He was going back and forth with baseball and football in the first place. Is his heart really into it? Who knows? But again, like you said, Jeff, they're in the toughest division in the league right now. That division's not getting any easier. But Arizona's in a tough spot because they already drafted a first-round quarterback, and now they moved hell and earth to get the second guy, and now they're going to drop him. They have to pay him. They're in a no-win situation. Yeah. They're going to pay him, and it's just going to be the wrong move. It sucks for them because they have to pay this guy. But you know what? It's with this agent coming out saying what he did. He had this whole essay of why.
I didn't even read it.
Yeah,
can you sum it up?
Long story short, he was saying he put up great numbers. He's a Pro Bowler. He's took the team back from being a crap team to a good team. But for an agent to have to say that, he's clearly there's some issues there. The team doesn't want to pay him. He wouldn't have came out and said that this early in the process without there being some issues here. And Arizona doesn't want to pay him because he gets injured, and he wants to get paid because he can get injured again. Right. So it's a tough.
Which means he's in his head. Yep. You know, he's going to be playing that way if you don't pay him. So it's a bad situation now. They're stuck.
I wouldn't want. Yeah, you're stuck, and they're going to have to pay him, and it's going to be a ring around their neck.
Eli, what would you do?
Well, I'll tell you this. This is a great question, and this is what's probably going through the GM's head: is can Kyler Murray get you to the Super Bowl? I think he's a good regular season quarterback, but we've seen him in the playoffs fizzle out. We've seen him throwing out the end zone to try to get the ball. Like you just seen him. He was just a quarterback. You know, like they exposed him for what he was, which is an average, decent quarterback. For him to get a huge payday, unfortunately, I think the Arizona Cardinals' hands are tied. I think they're going to give him some sort of money, unless they're going to reach for another quarterback, which I doubt, because I think they reached for Kyler Murray at that time, because that was a weak quarterback draft. You know, we had I think we had our guy Dwayne Haskins in there, right? Was it Daniel Jones too? I think that one as well. So again, like it was just a weak quarterback class, and they reached for him, and now I think they're going to have to pay him. But can he get them to the promised land? I think not. I think he's just going to get them some good regular season games. They're going to be stuck giving him this contract, and he's just going to be there. And I think they're going to if they're smart, they'll give him a 3-year deal, just to kind of prove it, and hopefully that they can get out of it later on. I'm hoping. Yeah. I doubt it, but I'm hoping that could be the case for him.
What's interesting is he's tied to Cliff Kingsbury. Kingsbury went out of his way to get this guy. Yeah. Now, Kingsbury's head coaching status is a little bit up in the air because he hasn't won a big game in his whole career. So if Kingsbury goes, now you're stuck with the quarterback that Kingsbury drafted. And you don't know if this next coach is going to want a diminutive guy that plays the way that Kyler Murray plays, because he's a shotgun quarterback. He's a very specific quarterback. He gets hurt all the time. It's a shitty situation, man. It's a shitty situation, and I don't envy the position that the Cards are in right now. Man.
And Eli, like you said, for the team would be smart to do like a 3-year deal, but that's not what he wants. And now,
right.
I
might say, go fuck yourselves.
He's gonna sit out, and it's gonna become a soap opera. Like you could tell. What is it? Was it his agent that put out that letter or whatever?
Yep.
So like his agent is probably getting pressure from Kyler's camp
100%
to go do something, get this guy paid, and like it's a bad look. I don't like the way they're going about it. I don't know. It makes us I don't know. I feel grateful that we have these quiet quarterbacks that just don't say anything.
Yes. We could easily move on from our quarterback next year. There's no real debate. Like nobody's going to lose any sleep over Daniel Jones. Us moving on from Daniel Jones next year. But the Browns and the Cards are in a tough spot. If you get rid of those two guys, you could be in QB hell. You don't know where you're going to end up. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do.
Hey,
man.
Sergeant, you're chiming in here. Like, is anyone more deserving though? Like this guy.
Right.
I know he got a ridiculous deal, which eventually is going to be a discount, because the cap keeps going up, and it's insane to get a $500 million deal, and it will be a discount at some point. But I mean, Mahomes, is a guy that he can do everything on the field, elevates everyone around him, smart as hell, natural talent. He didn't even know how to read defenses his first 2 years. Like he's still getting better.
Right.
I don't like one thing Spiro touched on is like Kyler Murray's like body language and his pouting and stuff like that. Like I've seen him throw a ball to a receiver, a good pass, and the receiver drops it, and he's staring down the receiver like, "How dare you?" Like that's not that's like Eli said, through the playoffs. That's not the guy that's going to lead you to the promised land. That's not it.
Yep. And watch the next couple of weeks. He's going to pick up that bat and start hitting in the batting cages. Start putting that thought in Cardinals' minds. Hey, I could go back to baseball. I'm still young. Watch. It's going to happen.
It can happen.
Yeah, you're right. He's already got enough money, right?
He's going to use
smart.
that as bait. Watch.
Good riddance. Like the Arizona Cardinals need a player that way. They don't need a player that's going to come in and actually hold them hostage at this point. Like I said, if it was a Pat Mahomes, then you absolutely be shaking in your boots, right? Just Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay shaking in their boots. But a Kyler Murray, right? They're like, all right, the unfortunate part is there's just no one to replace him. So I think they're going to have to pay him. But at the same time, I don't think they're worried where they'll be strapped back there where they're going to be like, yo, man, we just can't get another quarterback. Yeah. They'll get one. It's just they have to be smart with this deal. They cannot give Kyler Murray the world. They got to make a deal to where it's friendly and to where they get out of it and help the organization, because we know the cap is, I think, 3%, correct me if I'm wrong, 20% of the core, a lot of money to add into a person. So they have to be smart here. And if Kyler Murray keeps doing these antics, I can see why they're not going to extend him. I wouldn't either. I'll be out on him too. And I'll just figure it out with a free agent quarterback like Mr. Trubisky or something. You know what I mean? And kind of go from there.
It's a giant.
I have a worry, and it's that like this upcoming year, Daniel Jones is good enough with like these good coaches that he's being surrounded with, that he's going to go out there and be average to good, and the Giants are going to win 7 or 8 games. And then and with that being said, you almost, in that scenario, you would need them to trade one of the first round picks so that you have enough ammo to go get your guy next year. Because you don't want to be stuck in purgatory, with a quarterback that'll never get you over the hump, but he doesn't stink either. You know what I mean? So that's a worry that I have, is that for Daniel Jones, for them to say he's the guy, he would have to elevate beyond anything we've seen from him and win a lot of games he's not supposed to. Like it would have to be an above 500 record where the Giants are competing somehow in the first year of this rebuild because of Daniel Jones.
Or you build a good enough team around him where he could be the Jimmy G and just do what you tell him to do.
Yeah.
And you ride that good team and great coaching to success. But yeah, it's a tough. Giants could be in a tough spot too, man. Mara wants to pay him. He does, because he fits the Eli Manning mold. He wants to see him do decent. And if he does decent, it's going to be very interesting. But have faith in Shane, baby. Have faith in Shane and Abel. That they're doing what they're right.
Would his fifth year
we're
talking like 18 mil or something like that?
Yes.
I think it would be. Would it be that?
I think it's 20 mil or 20 mil or something like that.
I had it between 18 and 22, somewhere in there.
Right. But when we're talking about putting a team around him, when we're talking about putting a team around Eli Manning, this team isn't there yet. So we can't give him the Jimmy G. Like if we was to take Daniel Jones and put him on the 49ers, then absolutely I'll go, okay, let's see what he can do. But right now, at this present time, we don't have the time, unfortunately.
Well, he's going to be here next year, though. He's going to be here.
Oh, Daniel Jones is going to be here next year, but after that, I think he's gone. I think the guys go get the quarterback that they're looking for. They're going to look for a better Josh Allen or Josh Allen. You know what I mean? At this point, so Daniel Jones. This team is just so far off to being that supporting cast for him. We need somebody to elevate. We need those A players, and like you said, we need those generational talents that's going to come in and hopefully help us out at this point. And I don't think the Giants are winning 7 games. I'll be shocked if they win 3. But we'll go into predictions. Yeah, we'll go into predictions later on, and we'll kind of go from there. But guys, I saved the best for last because this is a long, drawn-out conversation. And free agency is coming up. The New York Giants have to clear $40 million in cap space. Guys, I have a list here. I have a list of the James Bradberrys of the world, of Luke Martinez's of the world. If you guys have it on your screen, so be. I'm going to throw a name up there because Everybody's gonna keep it simple. We're gonna keep or cut. And I'm gonna just do James Bradberry, who has a $21 million cap hit with a 9.7 dead money, and with the $12 million in savings. I do believe. Did I read that right? I do believe there. So with that being said, guys, are you saving or are you cutting James Bradberry? And I'm gonna start with Hefe. What do you got?
I think the third option is hopefully trade him. Hopefully you find some partner who's missing that piece and who's got a healthy cap and is willing to take on a year or two of that big money. Is this his final year, or does he have 1 year after this? I know they gave
this is I believe his final, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, it doesn't say, unfortunately. I think this is his final. You had a 3-year deal, if I'm not mistaken, guys.
No, next year. No, he's got 1 more year because they restructured him. So 2023 would be his
final year. So I would think that there's a team who needs some cornerback depth with a healthy cap, who would be willing to part ways after 2022 if they have to. I think Bradberry has played well enough to still be certainly a starting cornerback in this league. He still has value. He's one of the few pieces that we have that have trade value. I know his contract's big, but like I said, I think there's probably a team out there. If not, I think he is a cut, because with tough decisions being needed, his cap is just so enormous for what the Giants are probably going to be this year. So like, why just start cutting the fat and moving on? So he's kind of one of those unfortunate like casualties for me.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the thing is, it's tough because Wink loves good cornerbacks. His defensive system needs good cornerbacks. Cornerbacks, sorry. And Bradberry can be a good cornerback. We've seen him be that guy in 2020, but it's just unfortunate because his number is too damn high. The only thing that they could do is say, hey, let's rip up your contract and let's start anew. Let's either give you a 2-year extension where they lower his numbers down, or we're gonna have to cut you, man, because it's a no-win situation right now. They need that cap space. They need it like they need air. So in my perfect scenario, not perfect, in the scenario that I think is realistic, I think we cut Bradberry and you draft one of these high-end cornerbacks in the top 10. Look out for that. Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati. That's my boy. I think that's a possibility, and you get that you're not getting a huge drop off of talent, and you're saving so much money, and you're still getting that important cornerback to go next to Adoree Jackson.
Plus, what a cool name,
Sauce, baby. Are you kidding me? Oh my god, that's my dude. That's my dude, man. I want him. I need him. I think that's a realistic scenario. But yeah, Bradberry's gone, man. Unfortunately, that's what I think. Yeah. What do you think, Eli?
I'll tell you this, man. I really think the Giants will keep him. And here's why. It's because we don't have anybody on the depth chart that's actually going to play that CB1. We have Adoree Jackson that's going to help out in that second. Even though James Bradberry, I said, had a decent year, right? I mean, he gave up a big play, and then he wound up making it up with an interception later on down the line. Exactly. I really think the Giants are just going to either A, restructure him, or they're just going to give that money guaranteed more to try to free up some more space on the cap. I really do think so. If they happen to trade him for some picks, I wouldn't be mad at that option either. But then let's be prepared, Giants fans. We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose a lot of games. I already had my prediction. We'll talk about that later. But you kind of want to be competitive at the same time and keep your best assets there. And I think James Bradberry is an asset at that CB1 until you draft a guy like a Sauce. Let's hope, right? Yeah. But in that, you have to think about, okay, now we don't have the O-line help, and now so there's so many pieces that have to fall into place for that to happen. And right now, it's safer to kind of keep them and just give them a little bit of guaranteed money to alleviate the cap. That'll be my opinion on it, and that's what I would do. I'll just keep them and try to give them some guaranteed money or restructure them and keep them here a little bit longer and kind of go from there.
How many times do you think Joe Schoen is looking at all these contracts just going, Jesus Christ, Dave? Like,
what the hell Dave was doing? right?
I don't
honestly.
I don't envy Joe Schoen right now, man. I don't envy with all the moves potential moves that he has to make. He's $10 million in the hole already on the cap. Like, damn, with a
4-win roster.
4-win team, yeah. Good
so
luck. Next one. What we got?
I'll tell you this guy, Sterling Shepard. He's $12 million cap number, 7.9 as far as cap hit, and a 4.5 in dead money. Guys, I think this is a no-brainer, and I'm gonna start with this Spee. I don't want to influence your decision here, but Speed, what you got? You keeping Sterling Shepard or you cutting him?
It sucks because I love the hell out of Sterling Shepard, man.
Oh
Like
yeah.
he's one of my dudes. He's just been a trooper since day one, and you hate to cut a guy like that because he's such a good guy in the clubhouse. He was at the Joe Shane press conference at the Dable. You saw him could have had a career year this year, but man, you can't rely on a slot guy that can't stay healthy. Every year it's something else, and this one is a big injury, Achilles. Like, who knows when he's going to be back, and if he is back, who knows if he's going to be peak Shep? So. For the sake of, I hope he just you rip up his contract, you sign him to a 1 year like very minimum deal, and you let him work his way back under the Giants, with their trainers, and you give him the chance to maybe be there at the end of the season, or in the playoffs, baby. No, you just I would sign him to a really cheap deal because he's not going anywhere. Who's giving Shep big money if you cut him? I'd rip up his deal, see if he wants to take a really low deal, and other than that, you gotta say goodbye to him. It's a tough decision that you have to do.
Nailed it. I mean, if you got your business hat on, that's an easy cut just based on an aging wide receiver that has missed significant time every single year. The injuries are piling up. It just the other side of that is, like Spiro said, he's just a freaking awesome guy, like just an awesome teammate guy. Like you root for him constantly. And he looked so good in camp last year, better than anyone in camp. And he started off. We had our 1,000-yard prediction.
Yes,
right?
yes.
In our defense, he was on pace.
He was on pace.
Yes,
dude.
he was. Yes.
And then the reason why you don't make that prediction is because of injuries, and it happened again. So if Spiro's idea is a possible one, I love it. I don't know how realistic it is. He may realize that he's not going to get work anywhere else.
Right.
But those ties to the Giants, like he is such a good Giant. He's such a good dude.
Right.
Like he probably wants to succeed with Daniel Jones and Saquon as much as anyone. Like those are his boys. So that if they approach him with that and it works out, fine. Because we still need wide receivers, and if he is out there, he's a damn good one.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Unfortunately, I think he's a cap casualty. As much as I love some Sterling Shepard, man, like I said, me and Hefe, we was like 1,000 yards. He's gonna make it, and man, he looked great coming out of camp, man. This guy, I was like, he's gonna be it, man. But unfortunately, yeah, man, he's gonna be a cap casualty. With that being said, I don't think the Giants are looking at Kadarius Toney and saying, okay, young man, what can you do? Because I really think Kadarius Toney can come in and play a slot or a wide receiver too. I think he's that talented enough to do that. And right now it's his job to lose. I think he's an all-around guy. I think he could be a punt returner, a kick returner. I think he can do it all. And Shep, unfortunately, is going to lose the job to him. And the unfortunate part is you don't want to, lose your job or lose any, go out on a sour note with an injury. But man, it's just the lasting image of what Sterling Shepard could be is him ripping his Achilles. And it just sucks, man. In best case scenario or in whatever world, take a pay cut, whatever you got to do to stay here with the team, give up most of that money to help the cap. That'll be the best case scenario for him. But I really don't think he's going to take that cut, knowing the fact that he's injured so much. I think he wants some sort of money. But at the same time, if he does test free agency, he's not going to get a big contract. He's going to get veteran minimum, in my opinion, and prove it deal. So the best case for him is take the cut, whatever they offer you, and just try to come back and play for the Giants one more year and try to go in free agency for that next big deal. So that'll be the best case scenario for him at that point.
It's gonna be such a fun offseason because there's gonna be so many jaw-dropping moves that are gonna be made just to operate, but like to clear cap, he's gonna have to. And these are not Joe Shane's guys.
Right.
He comes off like such a nice guy, but he's gonna have to just cut the fat all over this roster. So it's gonna be awesome to see him work this out. And I will be like, damn, Shep, like I'm sorry to see you go, but moving on because all we did was lose with you. As much as I love you,
a lot of tough decisions, man. A lot of tough ones. And for me, honestly, the big one for me, I don't know, Eli, I don't want to steal your thunder here, but Blake Martinez is another big name here that
going to that.
What else do we have in the middle of the defense right now? You have Tate Crowder, and we saw that he couldn't take on a full-time role. And no, that's no knock on him. He's a 7th round pick. What could you expect out of him? But Blake Martinez, when healthy, is a rock in the middle of the defense. But is he a fit for Wink? Is he going to be good off of the ACL injury? You save you save $8 million if you cut him. I mean, you got $5 million dead cap, but still, it's a big number, and you don't know what you're getting with his health. I think that Blake might be the one. The tough
that's
one,
my
man.
shocker.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say that's my shocker cut. Like, you know how every year at camp they have a shocker cut, like, oh my gosh, can't believe they cut. I think Blake Martinez is there. I really think, unfortunately. And it's tough to come back from an ACL. Usually they say it takes 2 years to actually get your motor back. And as much as the unit looked like it suffered, it didn't suffer that much. So I think he's expendable, unfortunately. I think they're going to go out there, either sign a vet or get a linebacker in the draft and see if they can coach him up. A rookie,
There's a lot of good linebackers in this draft. So in that first, second, even third round, there's some potential linebackers that
it's deep.
Yep.
It's deep. So I think the Giants would draft somebody, and unfortunately, I think Blake will be the guy to kind of hit the road. Unfortunately, that'll be my surprise cut. Book it. I hate to say it. I love the guy, but it's business. It's nothing personal.
I agree with you. This
what you got, Hefe?
This is about moving forward. So, like, I'm just interested if Wink, like, did Wink have other options, or is he like, no, I want to go build something, because he's gonna have to build something here.
Oh yeah.
And Blake in year one was exactly what we hired him to be and more. He was an absolute rock. And in year two, he was absent. So what do? He's making a lot of money. So I think that's another one. They might have to cut ties, get younger, and let Wink build this thing.
Yep. And the
I'm gonna throw another.
Bare. It's not
which
bare. One? The cupboard on defense is not bare. Like, there's some talent there. Right. Dory, you got McKinney, you got Logan Ryan, you got Leonard Williams, Dex, Aziz. There's some talent there. And you add a top 10 pick, which I think they're going to come up with at least one defensive player in the top 10, probably 2 out of the 3 top 3 picks. That you have some talent there. And there you go.
Quick question from fan with the mic, Jalen Smith.
We saw some good things out of Jalen.
You saw this. Yeah. This is why I say he's expendable, because you have a Jalen Smith that can possibly come in and play some sort of role, and you can sign him to a 1-year prove it again. You know what I mean? So again, guys, and we have to think of savings at this point, because we're so tight in cap. So I think Jalen Smith comes back, and I think Blake unfortunately goes. But I'm gonna throw another name out there, and this will be the last one for you guys. But Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan guaranteed 5.5, cap hit 12.5. Cap hits 11.4, dead money 7.75. So guys, with that being said, I think it's a no-brainer. That's a lot of savings. So Hefe, what you got, man? Is Logan Ryan unfortunately gone?
That's I feel like it's a tough one. I don't know.
I think Julian Love can come in and McKinney.
I know, and but the more fat you cut, you get thinner and thinner at these positions that you need guys. And Logan Ryan is one of those coaches on the field. So
yeah,
it's just going to be so interesting, man. I don't know what the right answer is, because on paper it's like, well, cut him, his salary's too big. Okay, we still have to field a team and try to be competitive, or else you can't evaluate anybody. So let
me just give you the numbers though one more time here. Yeah. It's $11 million in dead cap money and only $750,000 in savings. I just want to correct you guys here.
Oh, forgive me. No. Yeah, forgive me. My apologies.
That makes it a no-brainer the other way.
That's a no-brainer. Yeah. Forgive me. That's a no-brainer.
There's not enough return in cutting him when he would be an everyday starter. So.
Yeah. I told you, man. Correct me, man. I'm reading this thing wrong.
I got you. I got your back here.
Thank you, brother.
Make sure we clarify, because he's basically impossible to cut, and I don't even know if he's tradable with that contract, because let's call a spade. He did not have a good year last year, and nobody's taking on that number at his age. He's 30 plus now, and so almost 32. So you gotta have to take your chances with his contract and hope he's got one more year in him and Wink could do something with him. And then you cut him after next year. But this ain't the year, unfortunately, man. Everything that Gettleman touched, everything Gettleman touched,
Math
man,
is
to
hard.
shit, man. Even with because Logan Ryan looked great year one. We're like, yeah, everybody was cool with the signing. You know, we
No, it
wanted him
is
back.
like what you saw.
I'm
this
gonna
year
throw
is like-
another curveball out, and
Okay.
and Spiro, I think I got one. I'm gonna throw, but go ahead, Hefe, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, once you lose that half a step, you know, and it happens to every player. You
Oh, it
just don't
is.
know when it. Some guys can play into their 30s. Once you lose that half a step, that's the difference between a broken up pass or a touchdown.
Yeah.
And he was there. You saw it at the end of every play. He was like a second late every
His-
time.
His
last
mind
year.
is right. Yeah.
Yeah. What we
So
got?
his
What we got,
mind is
Eli?
sharp, but Father Time is definitely undefeated, right? So you're talking about a guy who's coming in who's a little bit older. Looks like he lost some step, you know, as far as this past season. But yeah, he's a great leader. You know, he's a great guy on the roster. He's gonna help. Hopefully, he
look
could
good
be
as a
that
third
Deion
safety.
Grant for you.
Third safety, exactly.
Yeah.
Deion Grant, he'll look good as a third safety with Kyle Hamilton and McKinney playing.
Listen, go chase those tight ends. You lost that step. You have enough speed to keep up with the tight ends. That's all I need you for.
Wink might be like, get me Hamilton.
Yeah, dude.
You're right.
Yo, dream on this because Keith Hamilton, Kyle Hamilton and McKinney can play anywhere on any given play. They both are so talented that you don't know where these guys are going to be at any given play. That's a nightmare for offensive coordinators. Nightmare. These guys are stars. It's the best safety group in the league if you draft that Kyle Hamilton and you have Logan Ryan's your third safety. Come on, dude.
With Julian Love stuff.
With Julian Love still.
Yeah. He'll play.
Yeah, you still got Julian Love. You know what I mean? He could play a slot or he could play, you know, a CB2. Julian Love is that hybrid guy too. You could kind of play around with, but you can't have enough DBs in this league, man. It's a passing league, so why not?
I would love it. Bullshit. Get yourself a star like Kyle Hamilton.
You know,
I agree,
Spiro. That's such a good point because when we were looking over the notes of all the players, I'm like, where are the stars? Where are the great players on this roster? It's why we're in this position. But Jesus, like, get some dogs.
I know Gettleman paid them like they were freaking A+ players. Like, bro, like, what are we doing?
He paid for need and not.
That's true. That's true. But I'm gonna throw Riley Dixon out there, guys. 2.8 in cap money. I believe that's saved there. But his salary, I think to the cap hit is $320,000. 2.8 in savings. Did I say that right, Spiro?
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, I think you're right there. I'll verify right now, but I don't think you're going to have any debate here. I think it's going to be unanimous.
Yeah.
Cut his ass day one. Like,
I almost don't care about the math because he was such a dog shit puncher. Like, he hurt us a lot. So, like, I'll take a hit on the math.
1,000%. Say what you got to say because I'll echo that. Your dead cap is $320,000. You're saving $2.8 million. I mean,
that's a no-brainer.
Couldn't have more of a slam.
Easiest.
Riley Dixon was trash. I think we can get somebody else via the draft or via free agency. Somebody that's a unrestricted free agency that's going to come in here and actually kick that ball where we need it to. So that's a no-brainer. But breaking this down, guys, I think we're kind of almost at a stalemate to where we can cut or save, because at the same time, I don't think we save too much with this debate here.
let's just say this: you're going to have to restructure somebody. Somebody's going to have to. You're going to have to kick a little money down the line if you want to get to this magic $40 million number that you want to get to. Be it a Leonard Williams. I think Leonard Williams is a big candidate right there, like, because he's got a deal where you could, extend him a little bit. Maybe Blake is that guy. You got to figure out what to do with Saquon. Saquon, that $7.2 million that he has could be used elsewhere. If you get a nice trade package, trade him. But you're gonna have to get, because if you do the draft class alone, it's good with the 2 first-round picks. It's gonna be a hefty draft class. So I think I saw the rumors that it's $26 million just to have the draft class. We're already $10 million in the hole. So if you do the math, that's $36 million. Like, right off the bat.
I'll tell you this, according to what Mara said, I think earlier before the year ended, is that he's willing to pay these players guaranteed money to kind of alleviate the cap. But don't forget, who is the cap guy? Kevin Abrams. Kevin Abrams. They supposedly have a plan going into this, that they were going to get out of the cap situation. So I'm just hoping that they figure this out. But will there be some cuts? Absolutely. I mean, hands down.
Absolutely.
But like you said, Speed, I think there's going to be a lot of guaranteed money restructuring, and I think that's what's going to help alleviate this cap going forward.
We lost Hefe. We lost him.
Oh man, where's Hefe, man? Where's Hefe?
I'm coming.
Oh, here it goes. Here it goes. Here it goes. Now, people, hold your horses just a little bit here, because I'm sure Hefe got something up his sleeve here that's going to be freaking hilarious. But thank you for spending your Monday nights with us for the New York Revival, guys, man. Trust me, I missed you guys, man. This has been a long month for everyone. And
don't leave us like that anymore, Eli.
Oh, man, I'm sorry, man. Lord willing, I don't have to, or I won't, you know. But, Hefe got something going. What's Hefe got?
Oh boy.
Oh man. Hefe. Oh man, what is that, man? Listen, we always pack a few beers before we do this. Yeah. That's the only way we can do this show.
I've been doing a couple claws.
I actually
shout out to Steffi Smalls.
Yeah. Shout out to Steffi Smalls, baby. And listen.
So guys, listen. I'll tell you this, guys. Coming up on New York Revival, we have so much like guests that are coming on, guys. I can't wait to have them. Big names. I can't wait, man. You guys don't understand what's coming up next for New York Revival. So, guys, we have a trust me, the guest list is unbelievable. You don't want to miss it in the future. But, guys, anything else you want to add to the show here before we say adios to the chat?
Thanks for joining. Fun as always. Eli, great to have you back. Me and Spiro did our best to hold it down without you, but we missed
y'all held it down. Y'all held it down.
We missed our leader, and let's go get it. Let's have some fun, and let's all pick a gem out of the combine that we're going to keep our eye on.
Yes.
And just kind of pick one player, any position, whether the Giants get him or not, and then we'll check back after a few games or the season even and see how that guy did. That'll be cool.
Everybody has their favorites, right? Everybody's got to have their guy. But this is where we've gone, like I said earlier in the show, we've gone past the dead period. We're ramping up now. We're going to see the cuts this week. We're going to see the signings the following week. We got combines, we got pro days, and then we're right into the draft before you know it in April. Like, this is where you build this team, and it's going to be it's going to be a massacre, and then it's going to be awesome right after that. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Shane could do. And hey, we still have some other good New York sports in the New York Rangers to watch too. So shout out to our blue shirts. Let's keep rolling, and they're gonna lead us right into football season, because they're gonna go into June, baby. We're rocking and we're rolling.
Playoffs, baby.
Now let me say this, man. I will not talk about the Knicks until next year, so I'm not even gonna give any Knick news.
Good.
I'm done. I'm out.
Hey, and the Nets suck too. So hey, basketball.
I'm out.
We're very dead. We're very dead until Kevin Durant comes back, and then
Now, when we talk about the blue jersey, let's go, man. Rangers, man. That's the only revival we got at this point. So definitely, man. I'm glad they're doing well, and we hope to have some New York revival with the Rangers, man. Bring home the cup.
Let's
do this. But guys, on behalf of my guy, Mr. Glass Half Full, and Mr. El Jefe, this is your boy Eli Rex, aka Vibes, and thank you for spending your Monday night with us with New York Revival. And we'll see you guys next time. Be well, bless.
Cheers, y'all.